Hey there, it's Lacy J from Space Bear Media, the makers of Lost in My 40s. Did you know that you can go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, including our weekly video pre-shows where your hosts ponder ethical questions related to the week's episode and answer some fun questions just for, well, fun. Speaking of fun, if you haven't, thanks to our content, please consider rating or reviewing Lost in My 40s on your favorite app, or recommend us to a friend who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Lost in My 40s, Season 2, Episode 3, Orientation. It's another Locke episode, and Christy's going to give it to us. But first, how's everybody?
Lovely.
Doing great.
Just fine.
Oh my God, why does it always take you guys like 5 minutes to answer me when I ask you how you are?
It was like 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
No.
Yeah, no, it really was. Do you want us to all say it at the same time next time?
Is that what it is? Because we were just waiting for everyone to finish.
No. I just want a big old like, hey, like that. Like everybody.
Okay.
Like,
definitely
hey,
do that next episode.
I'll be like, how's it going? You'd be like, yeah, like that.
Like, but that's, then don't answer, don't make us, like, don't answer, ask a question. How are you guys doing? Yay, that's not an answer.
It can be if you're in the right mood.
No. I'm not a woo girl, so.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Woo.
Oh, my God. So here we are at episode 3 of season 2, the one where things get really weird, if they're not weird enough already. I do want to address what happened at the end of the last episode to just let you know we have seen further grown-up pictures, and the child appears to look mostly normal at this point.
Mostly normal.
He's kind of growing into his looks.
Yeah, and he's
right.
not a bad looking kid now, but that picture, whoa.
Yeah.
All
How
right,
did you get a picture?
I want to move on.
That's not something the parents shared with you, is it? Like, you had to have smuggled that picture out somehow.
I was on
Or
Facebook.
was it on Facebook?
Yeah, I was on Facebook.
For the world to see.
They were
Wow.
very proud.
Okay. Oh my God.
You didn't tell us that they were blind.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. For the listeners, we still could possibly have that photo up on our screens. So
No.
It's my
I don't want to look
screensaver
at it
now.
anymore. Oh my God. All right. I had made some notes because I wanted to talk about, and I'm sure my pronunciation of this is horrific, but I believe his name is Adewale Akinue Agbaje, who we talked about actually last week, Mr. Echo, but that's his real name. I was going to carve out some time to talk about him because I think he's fucking great, but we kind of covered most of it last week. It's just nice to get to these episodes that he's in because he's pretty great. Ben, do you want to give us a little reminder of the power rankings before Christy takes us through orientation?
Yeah, we got Kate in first, Jack in second, Michael in third, and at the bottom of the barrel, Susan, then Kevin, and then the others.
All right. Well, we're going to head down into the hatch this week. Christy, take us there, please.
All righty. So we are on day 45, and
Isn't that
starts
wild?
out on the beach. I know.
How it's only
crazy.
45 days and all of this shit has happened.
Jin is screaming in Korean, and the group that he called the others is like menacingly standing on a rock. They look ragged. They've got clubs in their hands, and then a very tall, muscular, half-naked man walks over to Jin and Sawyer and Michael the rest of them stand behind him, and Jin is still screaming in Korean. All three of them stand up, and the man with the club beats them unconscious.
And he looked good.
They are
doing
dragged
it,
through
too.
the jungle and thrown. He did. He
Dude,
did.
and he hits Sawyer like right in the temple. It's just like right across the side of his head. It's like, ow, fuck.
With like a giant makeshift club.
Giant
It's
club,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's concussed at this point.
He
I can
could
relate.
be dead. I mean, the way that he hit him
yeah,
on the
you
fucking
can.
head like that.
Yeah, especially in the temple.
Yeah.
You would know, Derek.
I would.
If you want that story, you can go to spacebearmedia.com on the Zero Shame Stories page and look for the episode with Derek. Sorry,
Yeah, it's a
that was
good
a little
one.
plug.
It's a good one.
If you want to know why he knows what it's like to be bashed in the head, go there now.
Yes.
They did
And
it
then,
over 40
come back
times.
here.
I mean, go there
So-
after this episode.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, so the others are dragging Jin, Sawyer, and Michael through the jungle, and they are thrown into the Sarlacc pit.
Ah,
And of course, Michael is just like, "Where's my boy?" You know, what?
coral.
Coral.
And the pit is just like closed with, you know, like a makeshift lid.
I've got
back
so
at-
many things that I'm going to say about this pit in the next couple
Oh my
episodes.
God. You hate the
Awesome.
construction of this? Is
No,
that what
I'm
your
not
deal
going
is?
to get to it now. I'm
Well,
just
they didn't
prefacing
have Michael
things.
on their side to construct.
True, Michael
I'm-
wasn't able to.
I am just going to preface it and say that I'm going to have some things to say about that pit.
So this is like
Okay.
your warning that we're going to talk
This
about
is my
the pit
warning
a
that I'm
lot
going to
today.
obsess about that pit a little bit. Yes.
I'm excited to hear what you have to say about the pit, Ben.
Me too.
Back in the hatch, Jack asked Locke if this is, you know, his destiny. All roads lead here, Jack says. And then we get right into flashback number 1. And there's a woman. They're clearly in like a meeting of some kind, and she's like, "My mom stole from me again this week." Locke's there. It's like a support group or something.
Yeah, you can
the woman-
tell it's like some kind of victims group or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out exactly what type of group it was.
It
but
wasn't
it's
like
definitely-
AA or anything. So.
Yeah,
No,
it wasn't
I-
AA or NA.
No,
but
it had that set up, but
What's
like
MA?
everybody was like
Masturbators Anonymous.
no, I said
no.
NA,
Oh,
narcotics.
NA. Oh.
They always no. I think like they all had somebody who had hurt them. They were victims of like a crime or you know something.
Yeah.
So it was like I don't know what that would be called, but a support group, just general support for people who have been victimized, maybe something like that.
I got to get props to, because Locke's got hair in this, and you know this is a flashback. So I got to get props to the wig man in this one, and I wish they would have gotten him to work on Jax a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, Locke's wig was much better.
It's pretty
I
legit.
know, but he still looks stupid with hair. I really prefer him bald.
He's got a
not
bit
as
of a comb forward happening.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but Jack had like
regardless of
like
how
a-
we like he wears the style, at least it looks like it's actually hair.
Right.
Right. Jack, it looked like a squirrel had like died on his neck.
I always wonder if like the guy who did that wig is listening to this show, and he's just like, "My life's work."
He's not. No, he's
That was the best
definitely
wig
not.
I ever did. I spent days making that thing.
These are the things I dream about.
He's not.
I know, probably not.
if he is,
All right.
I invite you to come be on our show.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You can
hone your
yell
craft
at Ben
first,
in
but then
person.
you'll be invited.
Yeah.
Okay, back at the
Oh,
support
fuck.
group meeting, this woman is just going on and on about, you know, how her mom stole $30 from her purse, and that might not be a lot to some of them, but for her, it's a lot. And Locke laughs out loud, and he's like, $30 is not something to get upset about.
Yeah, he's
And he
not
goes
having
on-
this shit.
Yeah, he's so unsympathetic to everybody in the group. He's like, you all feel too much. Pat Peggy Bundy is sitting 2 chairs over from Locke.
Woohoo!
And he's like ridiculing the other people there, mocking them for whining about what he thinks, are trivial things. And then he says, my birth mother found me. She told me that I was special. And through her, he met his birth father, who then stole his kidney.
Yeah, that's a lot more fucked up than $30.
Yeah, I mean, Locke's got a point here.
He does.
He does. However, at the same time, I hate the idea of putting down someone else's pain or feelings or whatever,
Yeah, you're right.
Just
you're right.
My
I hate that
situation
idea.
was worse than yours doesn't invalidate your feelings. Like your feelings are valid.
Yeah, so. You are correct. I guess for me, just like in this moment, because I know it's a TV show, I kind of like the dig that Locke gives, where he's just like,
oh, sure, he certainly puts things in perspective, and a kidney is a much bigger deal than $30.
Yeah, but you're correct, Christy. Like in principle, that is something that should be held to. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the woman only had $60 to begin with, and she took 30, then it's basically the same as a kidney.
I mean, I guess so.
Took half. Yep.
I mean, it's a body part. I still feel like because it's kidney. You take a kidney, you're taking several years off your life too. Like you're basically donating part of your life to someone. So I don't know that I can see much of an equivalent to that kind of thievery. But again, it doesn't matter. You don't minimize other people's pain, right?
Exactly.
So
he's screaming that he wants his kidney back. And then we're outside, of the support group, and Locke's trying to light a cigarette, and Peg Bundy comes over, and she's like, it's best if you can't get it lit, because if you get kidney cancer, you've only got one. So he thinks she's funny, and he apologizes for ruining her meeting.
They have good chemistry.
Yeah, immediately.
Just like natural chemistry. I feel like it just seems that way. The actors, I mean.
Yeah. And, he's like, oh, I'm sorry for ruining your meeting. But she says, all you did was say everything I ever wanted to say in there. So they chat for a bit, and she asks if he's going to come back because she likes bald guys. And, as per our wig conversation, like Locke points out that he's not bald. And she goes, I can wait.
Wow.
And then she introduces herself as Helen.
Peg.
Helen.
What?
Now there's something a strange thing here that this character has in common. So we know Peg Bundy. What's her name in real life? The actress? I can't remember right now. Katie Sagal.
Right? Yeah, Katie Sagal.
Right. Katie Sagal. Katie Sagal was hit by a car.
Also on
not too long ago.
In real life.
In real life, Katie Sagal was hit by a car in LA.
Holy shit.
Don't say not too long ago. It's not too long ago when we recorded this, but when this airs, it'll be a bit ago.
I understand that, but it's still not that long ago. But she was hit by a car in LA, and then you have Locke, who was hit by a car.
Oh, hit by a car.
We don't know that.
No, he was hit by a car in the parking lot of the one episode, remember?
Oh, do we know that already?
Yeah, and it didn't paralyze him. It was just hit by the car. It was the tease episode when he worked in the toy store. And
we kept thinking, is this going to paralyze him? Is this going to paralyze him?
Right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So back in the hatch, Jack is screaming, "Where's Kate?" While she's crawling through the air ducts. So once again, we're, concurrent timeline.
Back to that moment again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She finds the opening and drops into a dark room. And, she pulls a door open and she's in the gun room. She grabs one, loads it, and heads into the residence part of the hatch. And she comes up behind Desmond and clocks him in the head with the back of her, gun, the butt of her gun.
I'd like to point out she did grab a shotgun, which tactically is probably the best option in that. So
Kate's
kudos,
so dummy.
Kate.
She knows her guns.
So yeah, she hits him in the head with the butt of her gun. He falls forward and drops his gun, which goes off, now sending a bullet ricocheting off the concrete walls.
Good grief.
Yeah. Jack runs over to Desmond, points the gun at him. Locke tells him not to, but Jack argues that Desmond just had a gun pointed at his head.
Well, I mean, he's got a good point. Like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Desmond looks up and he sees that the computer is smoking because the ricocheted bullet hit the
happened to hit the computer.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep. And he's like, "Oh, what did you do? What did you do? We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die." And
Yo, that's an intense fucking moment. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like how many movies or stories in Hollywood require a gun that falls to go off?
Falls to go off?
Yeah, a gun that falls to the floor for it to go off.
And then
guns
they
goes
really
off.
don't do that in real life.
They don't.
No.
Yeah.
You got to pull a trigger.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like if it fell and then somehow the trigger like caught on something and it pulled back. Okay, maybe.
I could see that. But just falling on a concrete floor.
No.
Never going to happen.
Hey, guys.
Unless it's a really, really shitty gun.
Yeah.
That's Hollywood. Anybody want to keep going on the episode or nah?
That was like the longest intro ever.
Right? Before you get the title screen, yeah.
Oh yeah. So now we finally hit the title screen.
Yeah, it's 7.5 minutes into the show, actually. And it is a really long intro. We get a few more of those, or that becomes more frequent as the show goes on this season.
All right. In the hatch, Desmond is trying to crawl across the room, and Jack is on his back. He tells them, if I'm not allowed to fix the computer, we are all going to die. Desmond tells him to look at the time on the wall, which is counted down from 108 minutes to 97 minutes. He says, "I got to enter the code. I got to push the button." Locke wants Jack to let him get up. He sounds
like a little like obsessive crazy at this point, like I got to put the code in, got to push the button. Yeah, it's a little bit like you got to do what?
Push the button. I push the button. It's my turn. It's not your turn.
Who are you arguing with?
I have no idea.
I don't know who she's talking to.
Seriously.
Do you remember the cartoon Tiny Toons?
Oh, yeah.
I do remember this, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there was one where they were in an elevator and one of the baby tunes was like, "You don't push the button, I push the button. It's my turn, it's not your turn."
No, I just thought you were like crazy. I don't know what was happening.
The voices.
Yeah.
The voices.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. Oh my God.
Okay, so nobody got my little thing there, so I'm just going to move on.
Just roll with it. Roll with it.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like, "I got to enter the code. I've got to push the button." Locke wants Jack to let him up, but Jack's like, "No, I want some answers from Desmond first." He wants to know what's going to happen. And Desmond responds, "Do I know you?" Jack has Kate keeping a gun on Desmond, and then he lets him up to fix the computer. And now we are in flashback number 2.
I want to point out during this, after how after the title scene, they continue to show credits rolling through, like, guest starring or whatever.
Yeah.
The director's name of this one is Jack Bender.
Oh,
that's just
a cool
really
name.
Rock star name. Like, I was like, man, I'd be a porn star if my name were Jack Bender.
Yeah.
You could do that. Yeah, that's a good porn name if one wanted to do porn.
Yeah.
We're not telling you what to do, Jack.
It's a great episode. You can direct as well because you did a good job here.
Yeah.
But if you ever want into the industry, I think you've already got the name. So.
Oh my God.
All right. So, flashback number 2. Locke is sitting in a chair in the dark and he's getting dressed. And then we see that Helen is asleep in bed.
Hey.
So giggity,
got laid.
He got Peggy Bundy.
She's still pretty hot too.
By the way,
she aged really well, man.
I know
stunning.
this is like a while ago, but even if you see her recently, she's just
she's a beautiful woman.
Yeah,
she is.
Oh my God, Married with Children, it just would not fly today. It's just not.
Oh no,
not at all.
No,
it's great. It was a great show.
It was a great show for its time. Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
Anywho's,
whatever happened to Bud?
I know. David Faustino.
Oh, yeah.
His name? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. You know.
I don't know.
I know his name. I have no idea what happened to him. Sure, we can
Google
find
knows.
out. There we go. Derek is on it.
Well, Derek Googles whatever happened to David Faustino. Peggy wakes up to find Locke getting dressed, and she's like, "Where are you going?" And he says that he has trouble sleeping in a strange bed.
Oh my God, are you 5?
I can relate to.
Are you 5?
I know.
No,
Right?
some people that's true.
I mean, I can relate to that. Anytime I'm in a hotel or, sleeping in a bed in somebody's house, it's just weird because it's not my bed.
Oh, you know what?
Still,
David Faustino, I found it.
Yeah.
Really hadn't done shit.
He ended up being a wig maker on Locke.
Oh.
That's not true.
No, he did a lot of B movies after that. Robo Doc.
Oh.
Not another B movie.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He did a movie called Not Another B Movie?
Yes.
That's terrible. Poor thing.
So that was the pinnacle of his career then, was that show. Okay.
I hope that he invested well as a young man.
I mean, to be a part of that show at that age, that's pretty badass no matter what happens afterward.
Oh, hell yeah.
That show was great.
Yeah. I just hope that he saved some money for his future of not being in Hollywood anymore.
Is this what our podcast's about? Are we
wigs,
talking about how worried we are about washed up television stars?
That's right.
Is that what we do here?
Yes, that's what we do now. We're a support group for
Married with Children
stars.
was 259 episodes. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Okay, so Locke says he has trouble sleeping in a strange bed. He's like, I really like you, and I'll call you later.
I really like you, Helen.
That is some shitty way to end your first date. Anyhow, now we have Locke sitting in his little Volkswagen Beetle, and he's drinking coffee. And Mr. Cooper opens the door and gets in the passenger seat.
This fucking guy.
Asshole.
Yeah, fucking dick. Not like the good Mr. Cooper from Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
What?
Don't you remember that show, Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
That one I remember.
Was that a Tiny Toons skit?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't.
Okay, so Mr. Cooper gets into the car. They say good morning to each other. And Mr. Cooper's like, I know that you like to drive through this neighborhood and park outside my house. He thought that it would stop when he moved, but here Locke is, still stalking his dad. And Mr. Cooper's like, what the hell is it that you want? And Locke says he wants to know why. Mr. Cooper's like, well, there is no why.
Oh, he says something right there. He says something right there. The way he says it, he says,
fuck.
He like glares at John and says, excuse me? Like, how dare you even ask me that question? Like, he almost shames John for asking him that question in that moment. And I thought that was a fucking
dick. I hate
power
him so
move.
That you had what I wanted and I took it. Like, what do you mean? Why?
You needed a father figure. I needed a kidney. It was a con. Get over it. Don't come back. You're not wanted.
It's fucked up.
Boom.
Which just is a horrible, horrible thing.
You got Peg Bundy, man. Go back to her.
Yeah.
But
but you're not wanted. He's straight up. Yeah, he like straight up says you're not wanted.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
A horrible feeling.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper premiered September 22nd, 1992. So that's weird. It's September 22nd, same as Lost premiere. Former NBA player Mark Cooper becomes a dedicated teacher and basketball coach in Oakland after his playing career ends. When he's not dealing with his students and players, Mark spends time with his gorgeous female roommate, which he eventually starts dating. Starring Mark Curry, Holly Robinson, Raven Simone, Nell Carter. I remember this show. You don't remember that?
Give me a break, I sure deserve it.
What?
Oh, wow.
What in the...
You said Nell Carter.
She knows the...
I know, but you were singing her song, but you just sounded exactly fucking like her. That was weird.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. All right.
All right.
Boys, you don't remember that show from...
No.
growing up. All right.
I remember the name of it now that I think about it, but I don't think I ever watched it.
I think it was like a TGIF thing, right?
It was. That's what the article said that started the TGIF.
Yeah.
I was usually going out on Friday nights, though.
Not back then.
I was a little too young.
Like kids.
Oh, 92? Well, that's right. I wasn't.
You were
not. Well, I went to 97.
No,
I was just feverishly masturbating in my room.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
92 was hanging with Mr. Cooper. Give Me a Break was way before that.
Oh yeah, Give Me a Break was like 80s.
Downloading porn on through dial-up.
Yeah. Early 80s.
Just another Friday
There's a
night.
boob. There's a boob. All right. Oh shit. Call waiting.
I would imagine that it would be hard to get in a good, a good wank
on dial-up.
Downloading. Yeah.
I bet those two made do.
Yeah, I mean, you get numb to it the longer you look at it. So like when you're younger and it's relatively like, sparse, it'll work. Like if you had a choice between that and your mom's Cosmo,
like when you were young.
Yeah.
I guess it's like watching like scrambled porn, and every now and then you get a clear shot of a boob.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to do that. Like Skinamax, you could see that.
Yes.
Oh boy, that's so lame.
Yeah.
How desperate for porn.
And a lot of it was
we?
like a lot of the Skinamax in that time was from the 70s, so they had like the full bush and everything.
It was not cool. It was very Danielle.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't remember what we were doing.
Yeah, Locke's crying because his dad says you're not wanted.
Yeah.
Right. Back in the hatch, Desmond is desperately trying to fix the computer.
Yeah.
And Locke doesn't think that Kate needs the gun. Locke wants to help, and Desmond's like, unless you can fix the computer, just stay the fuck out of my way.
So Locke is just like basically convinced himself everything's fine. You can trust Desmond. Nothing's wrong here. He's just like in it. Whatever is going to happen, he's just like on board.
Yeah. It's so fucking weird.
There's a desperation to it because he feels like if this is not right, then why have I been led here? He says that. He says as much later.
Yeah. How many times has he said already, it wasn't supposed to happen this way? It's like, what do you think is supposed to happen? So yeah, he's just like trying to force or help like whatever he thinks is going on down there without having any fucking clue what is happening.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's a distillation.
In this situation, sorry. In general, he's not, but in this situation, I don't understand how he just has complete trust in Desmond.
It's a perfect encapsulation of faith-based behavior.
Right. That's what it is. Yeah. And he, I guess, well, we'll get to more of that in his flashbacks, I guess, eventually. Yeah.
So, Desmond says, if you can't fix the computer, you're no help. And Kate's like, well, Saeed can fix the computer. So Locke is like, well, go get him. Desmond's tearing apart his living space looking for something. And he tells Kate that there's another door out of the place, but that it sticks. So he gives her directions. And then he picks up a jar and he's like, I gotcha. Desmond runs back to the room with the computer, and he sets down the jar, and Kate finally gets her door open and she leaves to go get Saeed. Jack picks up the jar and he holds it for ransom until Desmond tells him how he got there. So Desmond's like, it was 3 years ago. He was on a solo race around the world and his boat ran aground on the reef. A guy named Kelvin came running out of the jungle yelling, hurry, hurry, come with me. Desmond was told as he was taken into the catch.
The catch?
The hatch?
The sorry. Booth? Yeah. Sorry. Anyhow, Kelvin comes running out of the jungle yelling, hurry, hurry, come with me to Desmond.
Can you imagine what if you're Desmond, you just like wash up on shore and here's this guy's like, all right, hurry, come. Like what the fuck is going on? Yeah. And then again, he just goes with it.
Yeah. And he takes him into the hatch.
What is it with these people?
Yeah, whatever. Kelvin enters the numbers into the computer and hits execute. And when Desmond asked what that was all about, Kelvin said that he was saving the world.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, right, they'll start doing it for the next 20 years or however long he's down there.
Desmond has been there pushing the buttons ever since.
Well, you gotta imagine,
even after Kelvin died.
Yeah, like, and this is the same thing. Like what happened with Desmond, the same thing that's happening with Locke, right? They get into a situation where they got no real clue what the fuck is going on. Everything is like, in upheaval, and then somebody shows up that it's like, hey, I'm in this routine. I'm here. And then they mistake that routine for purpose. And that's like, it's the same thing that happens with Locke when he gets into this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once Desmond is done giving Jack his explanation, he goes back to fixing the computer. Jack tells Locke that he thinks that he's crazy for believing any of it. And Desmond is like, go to the bookcase. There's a film. You should watch it. So Locke rifles through the bookcase and he pulls out a book, The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, and tosses it aside. And then he pulls out an old reel film canister marked Orientation.
The story is it's a gothic horror story.
Yeah, I did a little bit of research on this. Turn of the Screw was a 12-part serial that was published in Collier's Weekly. It's about a governess. Huh?
Collier's Weekly.
It's just some publication.
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it.
Okay.
Like short stories.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think
they published it in Collier's Weekly. I don't know what Collier's Weekly itself was. But anyway, the story is about a governess on this remote estate caring for 2 children, and she becomes convinced that the estate itself is haunted. At the time when it was reviewed, they saw it more as just kind of as a frightening ghost story. This was in 1899, I think it was 1898. It was reviewed as like this frightening ghost story. Then it was kind of revisited in the 30s, where people were looking at it again and were seeing that actually they suspected that these were figments of her imagination. So it was more like, hey, it's the psychological thriller. And then in the 70s, it got kind of picked back up. There was a thread of structuralism was kind of coming into the fore. And they looked at this, and the sort of outcome was that the ambiguity of the story was its key feature.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And that was the version in the 70s, considering it was found there in the hatch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Collier's Magazine was an American general interest magazine founded in 1888. It stopped printing.
So like Reader's Digest?
I think so, yeah. It stopped printing in 1957.
Okay.
I used to like Reader's Digest when I
used to read them in the doctor's and dentist office.
My grandmother
had them.
Yeah, my
grandmother did too.
Yeah, my great-grandmother, she got that and a little magazine called Guideposts, which was mostly feel-good religious stories.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
You like the crucifixion?
Yes.
Back on the beach, Hurley is tossing the ball with Vincent, and he sees Saeed trying to carry something heavy, and he stops to help him. Hurley says that he's surprised they all made it through the night, and he wasn't even here for that baby stealing part. Saeed says, I can assure you it was exciting.
Oh, look at you.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Nailing the accents.
Yeah,
Thank
there you
go. Just as Hurley says, it's nice that things are finally returning to normalness, Kate comes running out of the jungle yelling for Saeed, and Hurley says, oh, crap.
So good. They just given him the zingers, one right after the next.
Yeah, so Kate's like, so Saeed, we need your help. Back in the pit of despair, Sawyer asks Jin what he knows about the people who put them there. And all Jin can say is, they're others. Yeah. Michael wants to know if he's seen Waltz, because Jin wouldn't have mentioned that, I guess. I don't know. Jin mimes that he was blindfolded. Sawyer wants Michael to push him up so that he can try to break out. He's like, come on, help us out, Chewie. Referring to Jin.
Two observations here. One, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Sawyer didn't have a mark on him. Now, normally, when a very large, muscular black man beats the shit out of me with a club, I bruise up a little bit. He may be different.
Yeah, that's true.
He may be different.
He did take that right to the face, didn't he?
Yeah, not a mark on him. And also, so you're in a pit, the pit of despair as we're naming it now. Why are you trying to boost the guy up with the bullet or the hole in his shoulder?
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
what's he going to be able to do? He's going to be able to pull himself up? Put the person that's not wounded. Try to get them
Well, he
out.
was able to swim.
I get it. I mean, once again, he doesn't bruise. He's able to swim, do a free fucking like breaststroke or whatever with a hole in his shoulder. And now he's going to do pull-ups.
Yeah.
He's a cyborg.
The island is
that's
magic.
it. It really is. He's like a hip
Terminator.
cyborg. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'll be back.
Yeah, so they both lift Sawyer up to the top. He discovers that the roof is weighed down, and as he's trying to move it, the man from before sticks a machete through the top. I'm wondering where the hell he got a machete.
Well, so I think it was like made from airplane parts.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He probably found it in one of the torch closets.
Yep.
Torch closet?
Maybe this group will have a cobbler.
There we go.
Might finally get our cobblers.
One can hope.
So the big guy opens up the hole and he throws someone else in. And Michael lifts the hair from her face and he's like, "It's a girl."
That was
Which just
different.
It's a woman.
A little creepy.
Yeah. It's a girl.
You got 3 guys who haven't had sex in a month and a half with a girl in a pit now. It's like, this could get ugly.
I would hope none of them are rapists.
I would too. I'm just pointing out it's a perilous situation.
It just took a weird turn.
Also, how did they not tell it was a girl before they moved her hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a tiny little creature. Whatever.
Back in the hatch, Locke opens the film canister and puts it on a projector, which I just want to say, didn't you love when you were in school and you saw the projector in the classroom? You're like, oh my God, yeah, it's going to be a good day.
I was always happy to see that thing.
It meant I could like write notes and not pay attention.
That or the huge TV cart, you know, film projectors, those little things.
Probably not this.
Anyhow.
I mean, I don't do that in schools anymore, right? There's no such thing as film projectors in school.
No.
Everything's digital
Because
now.
we're old. We're in our 40s.
Ah, Jesus.
Yeah. So Jack wants to know what was going on before he got there. And Locke says that Kate was tied up. Desmond had a gun on him. Jack noticed that he calls him Desmond. And Locke says that Desmond wanted to know all about them and if they were sick.
Right? They're on like a friendly first name basis. Jack is like, this guy was like going to kill. What are you doing?
Yeah.
He doesn't know. It's his best friend. He was in the hatch. This is my destiny.
Yeah. And then, Jack is like thinking Locke is strangely calm for someone who believes that the world's going to end in 45 minutes. Jack thinks everything is just ridiculous. And Locke wants to know if he's upset that Desmond said that he recognized him because that would be impossible.
He's got Jack there.
Yeah.
And clearly it's not impossible because it happened, but I get what he's doing to Jack.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the film projector is going and we see the Dharma Initiative on the screen. There's some weird music and they say that it's 3 of 6 orientation, or that's like on the screen. It morphs into the symbol that Locke saw in the hallway with the swan inside an octagon full of dashes. And it says orientation station 3, the swan. And then a man in a white lab coat appears on screen. The film is clearly old and damaged and it's, it skips a bit. And then the man says, "Welcome, I'm Dr. Marvin Kendall. And this is the orientation film for Station 3 of the Dharma Initiative. In a moment, you'll be given a simple set of instructions for how you and your partner will fulfill the responsibilities associated with this station. But first, a little history." Jack and Locke are both listening. And the film continues with clips of everything that the man in the white coat is describing. The Dharma Initiative was created in 1970 and is the brainchild of Gerald and Karen DeGroot, 2 doctoral candidates at the University of Michigan, following in the footsteps of visionaries such as B.F. Skinner. So the film is telling them that it's a large communal research compound where scientists and free thinkers from around the globe could pursue research in meteorology, psychology, parapsychology, zoology. There's
polar bears.
Polar bears.
What
electromagnetism, utopian society, blah,
like
blah,
he doesn't say there's polar bears, but that's what you're seeing on the screen.
Right.
Yeah, you see a polar bear.
Wouldn't that be funny if that's how he listed it, where he's like, oh, you can pursue research in meteorology, psychology, parapsychology, polar bears. That's it. Just the polar bears.
What's parapsychology? I've heard it before, but I don't actually know what it is.
Nothing.
Well, I have PhDs in psychology and parapsychology.
I know that's from Ghostbusters, and I'm still trying to figure out, is this supposed to be like paranormal psychology or something?
Yes, that's what he's saying. Yeah.
Okay. So nonsense. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there is a reclusive Danish industrialist and munitions magnate, Alvar Hanso, whose financial backing made their dream of a multi-purpose social science research facility a reality. The guy in the white coat says, you and your partner are currently located in Station 3, or the Swan, and will be for the next 540 days. Now, Station 3 was originally constructed as a laboratory where scientists could work to understand the unique electromagnetic fluctuations emanating from this sector of the island.
Long after...
Huh?
Like what?
Unique electromagnetic fluctuations.
I know, I heard what you said.
I figured I'd enunciate a little bit better, just in case.
I just meant if I was watching the video, that's what I would be thinking right now is, sorry, what?
Well, they did see that the compasses were kind of not facing north and stuff like that.
And the key around his neck was like...
Yep.
Sucked toward the wall, yeah.
Yep. So apparently not long after the experiments began, there was an incident. Ever since that time, the following protocol has been observed. Every 108 minutes, the button must be pushed. From the moment the alarm sounds, you will have 4 minutes to enter the code into the microcomputer processor. The film kind of skips around a bit, and we go back to induction into the program. When the alarm sounds, either you or your partner must input the code. It is highly recommended that you and your partner take alternating shifts. In this manner, you will both stay fresh and alert. We skip around again. Utmost importance that when the alarm sounds...
So the end of the sentence is utmost importance? Like what? What is of the utmost importance?
Well, it skipped.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
You conveniently skipped.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. While I'm watching it, I'm like, wait.
Yep. So that utmost importance that when the alarm sounds, the code be entered correctly and in a timely fashion. Do not attempt to use the computer for any
porn.
And then it skips again.
Porn.
Porn would be terrible on that thing. It's a green screen.
Well, in 1970, it was before the internet was even a thing.
Yeah.
So now at the end of the film, congratulations. Until your replacements arrive, the future of the project is in your hands. On behalf of the De Groots, Oliver Hanso, and all of us at the Dharma Initiative, thank you. Namaste and good luck. Locke turns the projector off and he says, we're going to need to watch that again.
Yeah, I know.
I love it.
Why?
Hey, Ben.
Yeah, babe?
Got any special occasions coming up that you need a card for?
Is this a trick question?
No, it's an advertisement.
Is this about barbcards.com again?
Bingo.
So I suppose you're going to remind me that each handmade card is only $1.50.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't come with busy backgrounds or flowery poetry.
You got it. Barbcards.com offers to-the-point communication within several different categories, including our favorite, potty mouth. And if you can't find what you want, barbcards.com can do customizations.
Can I still get all of my cards for no more than $4 shipping, no matter the size of the order?
You know it. Barbcards.com has got all you need. Hey, Ben.
Oh my God, what are we selling now?
Merch.
Our merch?
Yes, sir. Shirts, coffee mugs, wine tumblers, bottle openers, stickers, magnets, and more. Your choice of product and your choice of Space Bear Media graphic from any of our podcasts.
Please tell me we're not making merch now, too.
Of course not. We'll stick to podcasts, and Pixis products will do the rest.
Thank God. I bet you have more to say, though.
Sure do. Pixis Products is a small business run by a local mom, well, local to us anyway, who needed something else to do besides being a snack bitch.
What?
A snack bitch, also known as a mom with a young child.
There's still more, isn't there?
Yepers! Pixis Products works with other small businesses for supplies, art, and other collaborations at every opportunity, including ours. In fact, Pixis Products even gave Space Bear Media our own storefront on their site. You can find us at shopspacebear.com.
Say what?
You heard me. Go to shopspacebear.com and buy something. So let's talk for just a second about this. So
Yeah.
it takes such a turn where just out of nowhere, this whole fucking thing, and it's why I kept watching this show, because it was just always a new mystery and corners that I never saw coming. Anyway,
yeah,
Derek,
not only is there a personal mystery for every one of the main characters,
right,
but the island itself is a mystery.
Yeah, and this just adds so much to the show.
That film was typical of those type of films with a guy in a white lab coat.
Yeah, and
like from that time period, 60s and 70s.
Yeah. What did you?
Why do there have to be so many numbers to put in? I mean, why don't you just put in like one number and hit the button?
Why have a human do it at all? They have all this equipment
exactly.
there, and that to me is what really begs the question of like, okay, there's obviously some electromagnetism happening vis-a-vis the key. At the same time, if you have the technology to do all of this shit, couldn't you just like make something that does whatever that needs to be done without human interaction? Probably. So
Lacy,
what is the station really for?
Did we discuss B.F. Skinner? Is that
that's fun facts today, or BF?
Okay, so yeah, the why do they have to push the button? We'll discuss later.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. But I want to know, Derek, as you're like watching this for the first time, what were you thinking?
Yeah, this just kind of like went way off of what I was expecting or what I was thinking was happening, because all of a sudden now it's this kind of facility.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is the Swan? Why are they there? What is the purpose of this whole thing? What is this organization?
So you had the same reaction as I did, where it's just like, you weren't expecting something like that.
Not at all.
They always surprise me in this show, or when I, watch
and I like
for the
that
first time. Exactly. Yeah.
In a show.
All right. So we're going to need to watch that again. Christy.
Yeah. Flashback number 3, Locke and Helen are dressed nicely. They're sitting at a restaurant table, and she puts a small gold box with a bow on the table. Apparently it's their anniversary of some kind. And, Locke is like, I didn't get you anything. She says, it only cost me $1. He opens the box, and it's a key to her apartment.
Oh,
keyed him.
Serious.
He keyed him.
Helen wants the relationship to move forward, but the one thing that she asks is that he has to promise to stop sitting outside that house. She tells him that she followed him there last night. If he's going to have the key, he has to stay all night.
He did
Just
not
a strange
like
bed.
He did not like being followed, though. Yeah, pissed him off.
No, he did not.
I wouldn't like my booty call to keep leaving in the middle of the fucking night. So
yeah, well, there's that too.
True.
Yeah. So she's like, I want to be here to help you because you've helped me. But he's pissed that she followed him, but he agrees. He promises to leave his father alone. So in the hatch, Locke is putting the film reel back on the projector, and Jack just thinks he's crazy for wanting to watch it again. So Jack leaves the room.
Where are you right now? Where are you guys? Are you on the Locke camp or are you in the Jack camp right now?
Locke. I'm always in the Locke camp. I'm in real life, I'm Jack, but on the show, I'm always Locke.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm Jack in real life, but just curious to see what's going to happen with Locke here.
Mm-hmm. I like following Locke down his rabbit hole.
I do too. But I was thinking more of like where would you actually be? Not in the show. If you were involved
in real life,
in
I'd be Jack.
I would think
100%.
it was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit up in the air, honestly. You know, who knows what happens if I don't push the button?
And that's why I'd purposely not push the button, because I want to find out what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I
guess I'm being told that the world is going to end if I don't push the button. I might push the button.
I guess from the perspective of like if I actually went through the crash and had already seen everything I had seen on the island, I might.
Yeah, that's true. All the weird shit going on.
Yeah, it's clearly a special place.
Yeah, it's hard to say then. Actually, if I was truly one of the characters, but just like looking at it from the outside, I'm like, well, no, that's crazy.
Yeah,
but
so in the pit, the woman wakes up and it's Ana Lucia, who we met in the airport. She was seat 42F.
Wait, what? You mean there were other survivors from the plane crash?
Oh my goodness.
Holy shit. That's exactly what I said when I saw that. This scene happened.
Right.
Shit just got real.
Yeah.
Right. So Sawyer and Michael tell her that they were in a plane crash and there are 40 other survivors, and she seems shocked. She goes, flight 815? And they're like, yeah. And she's like, I was on that in the back of the plane. I was in the tail section. She apparently was knocked out during the crash and woke up underwater.
Oh, that's gotta suck.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's oh my God.
Yeah.
Awful.
So thankfully for her, she was able to swim to the shore, and she has been surviving alone until they found her yesterday. Michael asks about Walt, but she's like, I haven't seen your fucking kid.
She said it just like that.
Yeah. They exchange names, and then Sawyer shows her the gun that he has.
You know what else he did? When she was thrown into the pit by the unidentified, like, massive jungle man dressed in, they make him look like he's been living
tribal.
in the jungle. Yeah, it's done very
But they're on the Survivor.
Yeah. But when he throws Ana Lucia in, Sawyer calls him Shaft.
Yeah.
I do enjoy some of Sawyer's nicknames.
No.
Anywho.
Yeah. Okay, Desmond is still fucking with the computer, and Jack keeps asking him questions. He wants to know if he's been in contact with anyone since he's been in the hatch. Desmond's like, if I was, I wouldn't be here. So Jack wants to know why he didn't know about the crash. And Desmond's like, I've been busy pushing a button every 108 minutes.
It's got to suck for sleeping. Jeez.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Jack tells Desmond that it's all a test just to see if someone would push a button without reason. He wants to know if Desmond has ever considered that. And he responds, every single day.
Brother.
Desmond says he hopes it's not true, but the film says that the station is electromagnetic, and that part is true, so he keeps pushing the button.
Doesn't he say every time I walk by that thing, my feelings hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Good thing for him he didn't have braces on his teeth or anything.
Ow, yeah.
Or a Prince Albert.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah. That's just painful to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Your husband's got one of those fucking things.
Oh, yeah.
It tickles her fancy.
I don't know how he could do that.
Is that what you call it? Fancy?
Fancy?
It's a strange name for it.
He wants to know if Desmond has ever considered, that maybe he's being told to push a button for no real good reason. And Desmond says every single day. He hopes it's not true, but the film says that the station is electromagnetic, and that part is true. So he keeps pushing the button. Desmond tries to turn the computer on and a light blows and, smoke is coming out of it. And he's like, it's over. And he just starts packing a bag. Yeah, game over, man.
Game over, man.
What the fuck are we going to do now?
Yeah.
So Desmond is like frantically packing a bag, and there are 48 minutes on the clock.
So if the world is going to end if you don't push this button, what's packing a bag and running?
Where are you running?
Do? Yeah.
As far
Hop
as
on a
he
spaceship
can.
and go to Mars? I mean,
He's Desmond, not Elon Musk.
yeah.
Desmond's grabbing food, vials of drugs, and Locke's like, well, Saeed's coming. He can fix it. Desmond says, give him my best.
Give him my Oh my God.
He runs out the room. Locke's running after him. And for a minute, Jack focuses on a photograph of Desmond with a woman with long blonde hair. And then he goes and follows the others. Desmond tells Locke he's going to run as far as he can, and then he leaves. Jack catches up to him, and, he leaves through the same door Desmond did. He's like, none of this is real. And then Locke starts screaming, this wasn't what was supposed to happen. Jack's like,
again,
what was
see,
supposed
saying
to
it
Locke
happen,
is sorely
John?
disappointed. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you know what was supposed to happen, idiot? So Locke runs back to the computer. There's 46 minutes left on the clock. He drops some tools on the ground, and he starts getting upset while he's picking them up. And he's like, what am I supposed to do? Idiot.
Press the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, put
Hard
the
on
numbers.
numbers
Locke
in.
this week.
I don't know. The whole faith and destiny thing, I don't know. I'm annoyed by that today.
Yeah. We never like
Just
Locke when
today.
he becomes pathetic. We like Locke when he's like a baller and he knows everything that's going
he's
on.
in
The second he
charge.
gets
Exactly.
lost and confused, we're just like,
Tracking,
yeah.
I see.
Your legs don't work. Ew. Like,
No. I like
He was totally like that. No,
What
when we
the
did
fuck?
that when we did that episode and we were like when he started to feel like lose feeling in his legs or whatever, he got the same way where he's just like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? It's the same thing that's happening right here. It's not aligning with like his I don't know, vision of
whatever his
So he had
vision
to-
is. Yeah.
So he had to
but
kill a Booth to get his legs back.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I think we all
like
know that
vulnerable
that was a sacrifice the island demanded. I think we all know that.
So we've been told.
Absolutely. Wish
I
they'd
like
have
vulnerable
demanded
Locke.
Shannon instead.
For the record.
You like vulnerable Locke? So you like it when
Yeah.
Locke is open?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I mean, Helen gave him the key.
Oh,
Lock and key.
I can't take any more. Christy, go.
I think we're in a flashback now.
Yes, flashback number 4. We're back in Helen's bedroom. She's asleep. Locke is laying next to her and he's awake. So he gets up and washes his face and he feels the scar from his kidney that's missing. And then we jump to him sitting in his car, drinking coffee outside
He just
of his
can't
father's
let
house.
go.
No,
Yeah.
he can't.
So then another car comes up behind him and rear ends him hard. Go
Yeah.
Helen. He looks stunned and it's Helen. She reaches into his window, grabs the keys out of the ignition, and she just throws them over the fence into his dad's yard.
That's a little
Yep, it
cray.
says reaches into
Yeah,
locks
but-
and grabs his keys.
Yeah. So she's like, your father's never coming out. You have to get over this and move forward. She's like,
She's
I
right.
know you're scared, but you have to choose between me and your father. And he says he
I'd
can't
choose Peg.
because he doesn't know how.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shoes peg.
Yeah. So then she's like, well, you need to take a leap of faith. She puts her hand out and he takes it. So now back in the hatch, Locke is on his knees and he's crying by the computer because he's being a sniveling idiot in this episode.
Oh, my God.
Kate
You
comes
guys
in
are
yelling
so
for Jack.
hard on him.
Yeah, vulnerable lock.
And Saeed and Hurley are with Kate. Hurley
Oh,
looks around the room and he's like, dude. Locke tells him Jack's gone. And we need your help. The clock's at 28 minutes. So all 4 of them get to work on fixing the computer. And while looking for something, Hurley finds the pantry and he says, dude.
He has two lines in this entire episode. They're both dude.
Dude.
Yeah, I think he gets a couple more.
Back in the pit of despair, Sawyer is relaying the plan for overtaking the others. And Ana Lucia thinks the sick prisoner routine is stupid.
She tells him too.
Yeah, she questions him a bit, and then she ends up stealing the gun and punching Sawyer in the face. She has a nice right hook.
Yep.
So then she starts yelling, "Coming out!" And the jungle man with the club throws down a vine and pulls her up. He says, "What happened? Who are they?"
Once again, I don't think Sawyer shows us any bruises from this.
No,
he's invincible.
Just keep an eye out.
The island.
I'm surprised the bullet even pierced his skin.
Seriously,
or he just didn't heal once he
wasn't
took it
on
out.
the island when he got shot.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Right.
If it was on the island, it would have just bounced off his pec.
Yep.
Okay, Desmond's running through the jungle. He trips and rolls down a hill, and as he's picking up the stuff that fell out of his backpack, Jack points a gun at him, and he says, "Stop." And Desmond thinks that he wants the code. So he's like, if by some miracle you guys get the computer working again, you need the code. 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. Hit execute. Jack tells him to shut up, and he yells at him. He's like, nothing's going to happen.
Jack is losing it too. He is
so pissed. He's so strongly is like, you don't even know what you're running from.
Yep.
And Desmond says, "I remember you."
Uh-oh.
And he goes on to describe their meeting at the stadium. And when he asks Jack about the girl, Jack tells him that he married her.
Yeah, and he has to ask him a couple times, what happened. And Jack doesn't want to say it, and he just screams it out. I married her. He cannot process that he's met this guy before. Because that means something is going on that he does not, it's more than
and
exactly.
I also think that just thinking back on Sarah, that was her name, right?
That's
true.
true.
So thinking back on Sarah probably is a painful memory for him as well.
Because we still don't know why they divorced.
Exactly.
Right.
And
yep.
we notice in this, the last time that they had met when they were in the stadium, Desmond has the same way. He's got a shortcut right to the things that that Jack is most ashamed of, or things that hit him the hardest. Because last time when they were there, he was asking about a girl, and he would,
Yeah, Desmond's insightful.
I'm here about a patient. Yeah, but a girl patient.
But a girl,
Yep.
And every time Jack adds a little bit cagey about it, and he keeps asking, and eventually Jack kind of lets it out. He's the only person that seems to get Jack to admit these things, or to even let these things out in any way.
So Jack tells him that he married her, and he drops the gun, and he turns around to cry privately, I guess. And Desmond asks if they're married anymore, and Jack shakes his head. Desmond says, see you in another life, yeah. And
Same thing he said at the stadium.
Yeah, and he just runs off into the jungle.
And the world ending.
The world is going to end in 5 minutes, according to the current clock. And Saeed's like, the power transformer is blown. Locke wants to know if Saeed needs to know why he's doing this. Saeed's like, all I need to know is that timer is counting down to something, and the computer needs to be repaired. He's sure Locke will tell him why when he's finished.
So this is the interesting thing about Saeed. He is okay to follow without any sort of explanation if he deems the situation like an emergency, a potential emergency, but you better have a good fucking reason when he's done, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like, well, we can deal with the why later. Right now, we have a situation at hand that needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And then Kate finds a power source and flips the switch, and the computer beeps. So the clock is at the...
Excuse me? The what?
The what? The clock is at 12 o'clock midnight.
Whoa!
Whoa, hey.
That rum.
Holy moly.
It's good rum. Bamboo rum. Sponsor us.
Oh, boy.
computer's beeping. The clock is counting down. Saeed's talking out loud about what he needs to do. And he flips it on and it works. Locke says there's a code he needs to enter. As he's saying it out loud, 4, 8, 15, 16. Hurley's like, hang on, wait a minute.
I love Hurley's reaction to this. He's like, what the hell?
And then Locke says 23, and Hurley's freaking out. And Locke says 32. Hurley's like, go ahead.
Yeah, go
ahead. That's fine. Ignore me. Go for it. Before Locke can hit execute, Jack walks in and he says the last number is 42. Hurley looks down, but he stays quiet, and Locke enters the last number.
Why doesn't he?
I know. I expected him to like say something.
Right. It's weird that he doesn't pipe up again. But
because Desmond had broken down his defenses.
Desmond was gone. What are you talking about?
No, Desmond had broken down Jack's defenses.
No, I'm talking about Jack.
Hurley.
I'm talking about Hurley. That
okay.
A second
ago. He's reading the numbers off.
Right.
Yeah.
It's weird that he doesn't pipe up again.
That are also on the hatch.
Got it. Yeah.
Anywho.
So the clock is at 2 minutes and 15 seconds, 2 minutes and 14 seconds. As Jack leaves the room, Locke calls out to him and tells him to push the button because this is a 2-person job.
Yeah, I don't
fucking
get that.
Stupid.
That's weird.
He just wants Jack on board. He wants Jack to follow him, believe him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Jack's like, it's not real. Jack wants to know, or Locke wants to know why Jack finds it so hard to believe. And Jack wants to know why Locke finds it so easy. It's never been easy, Locke shouts. And the computer's still beeping. So we get down to 1 minute and 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. An alarm is starting, and Kate is like, Jack should do it. Locke says...
No, I'd do it then, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would.
Yeah.
Locke says that he can't do this alone, and he doesn't want to. It's a leap of faith, Jack. 27 seconds, 26 seconds. Jack walks over to the computer, looks at the execute button. The alarm is getting louder. The clock is at 9, 8, 7. Jack takes a deep breath and pushes the button, and the alarm stops. The clock. The clock.
Damn, girl.
Cock.
The clock flips to 1 second and resets to 108 minutes. Everyone is just standing there, and Locke says, I'll take the first shift.
Yep. Just whatever.
Jack walks away. He's like, fuck this shit. The clock is down to 107, and we get the lost title screen, end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Locke gets a few really great lines, like quips in this one.
Yeah.
We're going to need to watch it again, and I'll take the first shift. It's good stuff.
One thing I thought was funny I didn't mention was like when Saeed is fixing the computer and he finally finds out that it's working, the amount of time and care he puts to putting the top back on the computer before anything else happens, I thought was a little ridiculous. It's like, okay, fucking thing works. You don't need to put a top on it, dude. Let's type in our code.
Saeed is detail oriented.
He very much is.
All right, you guys. Fun facts. Today, we're going to talk about B.F. Skinner. He is mentioned in the orientation video, and he's a pretty important person to know about considering the episode. So, B.F. Skinner is a psychologist. If anybody's ever taken Psych 101, you're going to learn about B.F. Skinner. One of his more famous contributions to the world of psychology is called operant conditioning. And it's a learning method that employs rewards and punishments for behavior. So Skinner was sort of like the anti-Freud, I guess you would say. He thought that looking at internal thoughts and motivations of humans was a poor way to explain behavior. And he suggested that all we needed to look at were external observable causes of human behavior. So He distinguished between two types of behaviors. One is respondent, and this is basically just like your reflexes, what you do automatically when you encounter a stimulus. And the other is the operant. And so what he called these behaviors are conscious control, and he believed they could be controlled through, like I said, punishment and reward. So it's a fairly simple process. Actions that are followed by reinforcement will be strengthened and more likely to occur again in the future. If you raise your hand to ask a question and like your teacher praises you, then you're more likely to do that again. If you interrupt to ask a question and she yells at you, then you're more likely to not repeat that behavior. So that's punishment and reward. So B.F. Skinner loved working with rats. He did a lot of psychological experiments with rats, one of which, for operant, he would have the rats in their little houses, and they'd turn a green light on. And when the green light was on, or when they pressed the lever, and the green light came on, they would get a treat. If they pressed a lever and a red light came on, they would get a shock. And so they learned to only press the lever when the green light was on and to avoid it when the red light was on. So that was how he gave evidence for his idea there. So one of my personal favorite experiments that Skinner did helped to explain gambling addiction. And one set of rats, again, with the rats in their little, and there's video of lots of different experiments of, rats doing this, not his video. But anyway, so gambling addiction. So one set of rats would have a button, and every single time they pushed the button, they would get a treat. And so when they felt like having a treat, they'd push the button. Otherwise, they would just leave the button alone because they know it was there for use, and it's always going to work, basically. But another group of rats, the button would hand out a pellet randomly. So sometimes you press the button and you get a pellet. Sometimes you press the button and you don't, like with gambling. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So what happened was... you
got to know when to hold them.
That's what happened, yep.
Yep.
No, the rats that got the treats intermittently started pressing the buttons chronically, and they couldn't stop because they never knew when the next pellet was going to come, and so they just never stopped pushing the button.
That's
and
awful.
so that's what happens, and that's why casinos let you win just every once in a while, so that you will keep, pushing that lever. So that's a little bit about operant conditioning. And it, is obviously pertinent to this episode because Jack, brings up the idea that this is all an experiment. And, that's, I guess, the question now. Is anything really going to happen? Or is the Dharma Initiative something else? So, what are we doing next? Best and worst moments. How about Christy?
Oh, best moment is Hurley finding the pantry and going, dude. And worse, Mr. Cooper telling Locke that he isn't wanted. That was a heartbreaking moment. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
What kind of an asshole you are. Having your parent tell you that you're not wanted. Just really, it's gutting.
That was my worst moment as well. You're not wanted, in quotes. I had a tie for my best moments. We're going to need to watch that again. And also Hurley's, oh, crap.
And he's like, everything's, getting normal. And Kate runs through and, oh, crap.
It's pretty great. Derek, how about you, best and worst?
My best moment was whenever Locke decides to take that leap of faith with Peg Bundy.
All right.
He's finally given up on his loser dad.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst moment was, when his father tells him, don't come back, you're not wanted.
Yeah.
And just how devastated that made Locke feel.
Pretty bad. Ben?
My favorite moment was a series of moments, but it was really just sort of the what was happening between Locke and Jack through most of the episode. The entire episode in many ways was sort of hinged upon, or revolving around their different ways of looking at this and their own sort of struggles in kind of processing the situation that they're in. So I enjoyed that. Not so much a scene as a series of interactions. And the worst, same thing, like Locke's dad saying you aren't wanted. That's just
sweet.
That's more than a gut punch.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. Yeah.
The dick punch.
Yeah.
Ben, give us your character power rankings and fucks and kills and.
Jack was my favorite in this episode. I just thought he was having a rough time this episode, but I think through everything with Desmond sort of finally getting to him at the end through, inquiring about his wife multiple times, like I mentioned earlier, sort of broke down his defenses, and he came back and was like, he said 42, even though like he enabled the other folks to kind of continue to go down this, even though he's like, this isn't my rabbit hole, but I'm not going to yuck your yum, basically. So I appreciated that aspect of him, where he sort of relent. And worst character, Mr. Cooper, that guy's just I'd fuck Anna Lucia because that little midriff she's wearing, a little stomach all the time. I dig that. And I'm going to kill Mr. Cooper.
I have a feeling he's going to die a few times today. I like what you said about Jack. I actually had him on my second worst. He pissed me off a lot in this episode, but I see your case. You make a good case for him. My best character was Helen. I thought that she was there for Locke, and she told him the truth, and that's what you should look for in a partner. And yeah, Mr. Cooper, obviously the worst. He's fucking horrific. And I killed him as well. We don't know his name yet, although we have mentioned it a few times. It is, of course, Mr. Echo. I am taking him and Anna Lucia on in, I believe, my first threesome of the season.
Yes.
Unless I forgot.
Looks like
that.
it. Yep.
All right. Derek, how about you?
My best was Helen as well, for the same reasons, and helping Locke hopefully get over his dad. The worst is Mr. Cooper, who I also killed. I think he's going to probably sweep it this week.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fuck Helen just because she's Peg Bundy.
That's a good point.
Hard to argue with that logic.
Yep.
Christy?
So I also have Helen as my best character and as my fuck character.
All right.
Mr. Cooper is my kill character, so I think that's a sweep. But my bottom was Locke. He just believed.
You just
so
hated
strongly.
him this episode.
I really just didn't care for him this episode. He believed so strongly in this, destiny to push a button and leaving Helen in the middle of the night to go stalk his fucking dad that doesn't even want him. You have a gorgeous woman in bed who wants you to stay, and you leave her for a man who doesn't fucking want you. Stupid.
Yeah, it's just so weird because I had Locke in my top three, and now you're making a good case for why he shouldn't be.
Yeah,
that's interesting. All right,
and Jack is also in my bottom three. I have Locke, Mr. Cooper, and Jack in my bottom three because Jack is also a dick. Like why do you know that you have to push this button? Well, how do you know that I don't have to, Jack? So both sides. And then Mr. Cooper's just a fucking asshole. So
yeah, he's the worst.
I'm going to kill him.
He's probably the worst character in the show so far, don't you think?
I don't know. Susan. He and Susan are probably.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And don't forget Randy Douchebag Nation.
Well, there's Randy.
You can't forget Randy.
He's just a douchebag.
But just in the severity.
Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, the severity of the behavior, I feel like stealing an organ takes the cake. But yeah, Susan she stole a child, I guess. So, yeah.
But he's still on the planet. I can still see him at some point. My fucking kidney's gone.
Yeah, that's true. Ben, can you update us on the power rankings, please?
I can certainly try. So we still have Kate in first place with 29 points, and we've got a new entry into the top three. It is Helen. She came roaring into second place.
Hey.
Yeah.
I like
and
it.
And then behind her, Jack and Dr. Bronze in the third spot once again.
Dr. Bronze.
Dr. Bronze. Of course, we've got Mr. Cooper at the very, very bottom of the barrel. He went from 0 to the bottom of the barrel in one episode. I guess being a hurtful, awful piece of shit can do that. Susan still in second place, and then Kevin in third place. So we've got basically three sort of secondary characters who are taking all the bullets.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, Shannon hasn't been in it for very much yet.
No, she fell out of the top three by virtue of these other people's being absolutely despicable.
Right.
Yep.
All right.
Garbage
Thank
people.
you.
You're welcome.
Christy, how about your final impressions? What are you thinking?
It's a good episode. I like that we got Peggy Bundy. We get just a tiny little bit more of the others. We all hate Mr. Cooper. He's a fucking asshole. I can't wait to see and I don't remember for sure, but I can't wait to see if there's a real reason for why they're pushing the button or if it's just conditioning, a la B.F. Skinner.
All right. Ben?
I thought this was a great episode. I think the fact that you get into this place that has had this sort of mystique around it, and you find that there's just this sort of mundane sort of rhythm to it, but that it also masks this, what could be this terrifying result if you don't do it. That whole sort of that whole storyline really pits Locke and Locke's way of thinking against Jack and Jack's way of thinking. And I love how Desmond sort of bridged that. He kind of stood in the middle of it where he's like, well, I'm pragmatic like you. I think every day that maybe this is a complete sham, but I do it anyway. So it's a really cool episode when it comes to like the psychology of things, about like this, like you were saying, this sort of like operant conditioning, and you have people that are thrown into these situations that they don't understand. There's all this fantastical shit's going on. So, how do you process that? Like what's your ethos? And I thought this episode did a really, really good job of sort of, I don't know, sort of like highlighting all of that, but then also sort of deepening it. And I also
Ben
really
was
like
really like deep in his answer in Christy's computer. Bling!
It got excited. It liked what Ben was saying.
Oh, I see. That's what that was it.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
it.
babe.
That's the ticket. And I also really like, the fact that you get to see the film, and that you can see like the film, it's skipping and there's big chunks of it missing, which immediately makes you think like, okay, somebody doctored this. It's film. You actually have to cut this stuff to make that shit happen. So why did they do that?
Isn't it just old? I
thought it was just because it was old.
It was just because it was old.
No,
I feel like it's because it's cut.
Old will make
That's
things
true. It's a
warm,
real film, so it's not going to skip. Yeah,
it's not going to skip. Yeah, you might get places where it's warped and it'd be like, but you're not going to cut from one thing to the other.
No,
it skipped. It skipped whole sentences.
Yeah,
right, but it skipped them because it warped. Every time it did that, it went war, and then
yes, but
how did it go?
Not doing it.
But you could hear defined cuts where it would be saying something, and all of a sudden, I disagree with your disagreement.
Well, then that's where we stand.
All right.
Maybe I can get Chris to watch the episode
now.
and weigh in since he's been through film school.
Oh yeah, do that. All right, my final impressions. I just wrote down, wow, what the fuck is going on? So good. Thing I love about this is that the end of episode 2 of season 1, that ends with them up on the mountain with the message in French. And Charlie says, guys, where are we? And I feel like that's the same message at the end of this episode. At the end of episode 3 of season 2 is just all over again. We're starting with like, what the fuck? Like, where are we? And I love that. I love that they bring us back there at the beginning of season 2. So
yeah, there's a lot of what the fuck is going on. Where the fuck are we happening in this show?
Yeah.
I think one of the things I hadn't thought about that I think is like where they've gotten here is this sort of idea of almost like next level survival. Like for the first 45 days, they were having to do all of these really, really ornate things just to survive. You had to find water, you had to do this, you had to do that. You had to do these really, really sort of primal things in order to survive. Now you're doing this extremely like tedious, I'm pressing buttons in order to survive. So it's like the exact same thing. You're going for survival, but now it's not just your survival, it's everyone's survival. But you're doing it with this really, really mundane thing. So I feel like it's just two sort of dynamics that are separating that makes it feel almost absurd.
Yeah. Derek, final impressions, lasting questions.
So this was, I really like this episode because a lot of things happen in it, and we do learn that there are survivors from the tail of the plane.
Mm-hmm.
And we also, find out who Helen is, and that Locke's father's still a piece of shit. We find out how Desmond got into the hatch and a little about the strange organization that's responsible for this Dharma Initiative.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest question I have is, what is Desmond trying to prevent by pressing the button? Or is it just conditioning?
Yeah.
Right. And that is an excellent question. So, more on the Dharma Initiative to come. But next week, it's a Hurley episode again. I'm taking this one. It's called Everybody Hates Hugo, which we know is not true and could never be true because he's the mayor of Island Town. Please join us again next week at episode 4. We'll see you then. Bye.
Before that, I'm going to say one more thing. This lesson, this episode is a lesson that anyone that ends their conversation with you with namaste, don't fucking trust them.
Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacy J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trim. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook to interact with your hosts. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube to watch our episode pre-shows. You can also find us at SpaceBear_media on Instagram and Twitter. Or come to our website, spacebearmedia.com.